Do you like extra content?
Do you like supporting your favorite creators?
Well, do we have good news for you? We have a Patreon. No, not a Patreon, a patron.
What's the difference? Literally nothing, except for the fact that our patron is through Podbean. We have donation tiers at $1, $3, $5, $10, and $15 per month.
At $1, you can join our Discord server and have access to monthly bonus content. At the $3 tier, you can watch our unedited video versions of our podcasts that are definitely not safe for work.
To join, just visit our link tree in the episode description and click Become a Patron.
Welcome, listeners, to the newest episode of the You Hate to See It podcast. I'm Adam.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Nick.
And today we have a very special guest. We have Mr. Larry Hankin. Hello, Larry.
How you doing, everybody?
Fucking great.
Yeah.
Fantastic, yeah.
So, Larry, I didn't know if you wanted to introduce yourself a little bit for our audience who don't know.
My name is Larry.
That's it. That's all we needed.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm a guest on the show.
Yeah.
On the show, and that's about it.
All right.
I have nothing. I'm an actor. I'm a performer. I do interviews. I don't know.
All right, cool. So, Larry, you said that you're currently writing a book. Can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Oh, yeah. It's a great book. I wrote it for people who like the roles that I do. It's just a book. It's stories about all the, it's short stories about all the roles I've ever done since I got into show business. But the more important ones are highlighted. There's like 45.
Mm-hmm.
I hear by the interviewers that have interviewed me, they come up with this research,
Mm-hmm.
and so they tell me who I am and
Yeah.
what I do. So one of the things that I found out through doing interviews is I've done over like 192 or 200 shows, roles, stage performances, TV, movies. So when that struck me, I thought I've had a pretty interesting life vis-a-vis my performances. I've had, my life has been threatened 3 times. I'm serious. I mean, like a gun to my head and 2 times knives to my throat. I mean,
Jesus.
life has been threatened.
Okay.
So that's in there. It's just, it's just one thing of hundreds of other things. And then I've argued with the stars, the leads. So that's what the book is about. It's about my adventures in show business. Maybe that's a good title to the book, Adventures in Show Business.
I like it.
Yeah, and all the roles that I've done, and who hired me, like the auditions. It's kind of like the Stations of the Cross of acting. I just go through like auditions that I've had, the rejections, the fans, so that's the kind of, I think they call it a memoir.
Mm-hmm. So talking about some of the roles that you've had in your life, we'll get to the big ones that everyone wants to talk to you about, I'm sure. But I wanted to talk to you. Your first TV appearance was on the John Bartholomew Tucker show.
Wow.
And I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that and how you got onto that.
Here's what I know about that. Nothing. I don't even remember that.
Okay.
I remember the name, and it happened in San Francisco, right?
Yeah, you were on episode 7.
I have no idea what that was about. I remember the name, but wow, you guys, nice research.
Yeah. So then your first like notable role I saw was
The
playing.
one that I remember best.
We'll
That's
see.
something that I remember.
Do you remember playing Romero on Viva Max?
Oh yeah, man, that's one of my favorite roles. That's in the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never remembered his name though. I couldn't,
Yeah.
it's not in the book. But I write about it. Yeah, Romero, the drum, carrying the drum.
Yeah.
Oh man, did we fight over that? I mean, that's why I remember it, because that was one of the big fights of my career
Okay.
with the director, Jerry Paris,
Mhm.
because I didn't want to do anything that he wanted me to do. I didn't want to do any. It was one of those. I was back in the day when I had my my artistic, I don't know, dander up. I had the part in my head, and I knew who this guy was, and I knew what he did and didn't do. And Jerry had no truck with any of that. He just went, look, here was a big argument we had. Because I was carrying the drum on my back, it was a big bass drum, and it was a parade for you people who don't follow my career. So there's this big, huge drum. So I thought, well, okay, I'll just do a Buster Keaton. This guy has nothing to laugh about. He's just got this big drum, and he's at the end of the parade, boom. And there was it was kind of funny because they had a short guy, as I recall, with a big drumstick, those with the fur on the end of it.
Yeah.
So when we were at the end of the line and everybody had so I had nothing to laugh about, and I didn't laugh or smile through the entire movie. I mean, that was my Buster Keaton. And there was one scene particularly where I was on a bus. Somebody had stolen my drum, or I'd lost my drum or something, I don't know, but I had to go find it. And the head, Peter Ustinov, the leader of our band, it was a Mexican army band, and he wanted to take over the Alamo. So we were marching in to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. What was his cover? Oh, we're just marching to the Alamo to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. And then once we were inside, he was not going to leave. So he would hold the Alamo hostage. And then he would surrender. They would send him home, but he would be a hero to his girlfriend. That's the plot of the movie.
Okay.
So I carried the drum. That was my big thing. And then somebody took the drum. So it was just a scene of me getting on this empty bus, like 2 a.m, looking in the city of Alamo or wherever the Alamo was. And I get on this empty bus. There was just a bus driver, and I get on the bus, and I'm so sad because I can't find my drum. I know I'm going to be in trouble. It was just me, the driver, the cameraman, the sound guy, and the director. And we did the scene where I just sit on the bus and I'm all forlorn. I get on the bus, okay, and I ride for a little while, blah, blah, blah. And that's it. That's it. I don't even think I said probably a word. It was just me being forlorn, and contemplating when I get back, I'm going to be hollered at. That's the scene. That was my big major scene of the character, where I was just me. Okay, at the end of the movie, now we're going back. The whole narrative is done. The third act is, we're going back to Mexico. He's become a hero for capturing the Alamo for like a day. Okay, he's being kicked out. We're marching back. So we're marching by the camera. So Jerry Paris, the director, says the camera is low. We're going to march by. It's the old cliche band marching past the camera, this way, and then the key is that since the drum guy, Romero, and the drummer is the last thing, so we're the last shot. So as we're marching by, and then we come to me, and the drum, and I don't smile, And Jerry Paris is telling everybody in there, okay, everybody, it's the end of the movie. Everybody's happy. Everybody's smiling. You're going home. He's the hero. Happy, happy. That's how he directs. That's verbatim. It just grinds on me. So I march by, and I'm Buster Keaton, What do I got to be smiling about? I'm still carrying the drum. Who cares? Blah, 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 blah. He goes, cut, cut, cut. What are you doing, Larry? I'm marching by the camera. What? He says, no, no, it's smiley, smiley, happy, happy. We're smiling. It's the end of the movie. Jerry, I have nothing to smile about. I'm carrying the drum. Somebody stole my other drum. I'm in trouble. And isn't that funny? He said, no, no, this is the end of the movie. Smiley, happy, happy. The end of the movie. I go, Jerry, yeah, no, I'm not going to smile. What do you mean you're not going to smile? I'm not going to smile, Jerry. I got my character. So he goes, all right, everybody, and there's like 200 people. You know, the crowd. He has in the narrative. There's a crowd of Alamoians. I don't know what you call them, but you know, people who live,
Texans?
you know, in the city. Alamoians, and they're cheering as we're going past. So there's about 100 people, extras, and then there's about at least 50 people in the band. And then Peter Ustinov is on a horse and he's leading it. So everybody's marching and cheering and everybody's happy except me, you know, and I said, Jerry, it would be funny. Look, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's not funny. This is funny. Everybody's happy. And here's this guy with this drum. And he's still not happy. That's good. That's good for the movie. No. He goes, all right, everybody, Larry Hankin. And he points to me. Larry Hankin won't smile. So we're going to wait here until Larry decides to smile. So everybody just relax until Larry decides to smile.
Of course.
Man, don't do this. I'm not going to smile. But, you know, he will not smile, so we're not going to leave, everybody. So just hang in there. We're not going anywhere. Now, the cinematographer, who was a big-time cinematographer, I mean, he had a lot of credits. So he had some weight, you know. He comes up to me, he said, Jerry, what are you doing, man? He says, Larry won't smile, so we're not going to do any more shooting. He said, we're losing the light. Are you kidding? I said, you know, I got a whole crew here. We're not going to, how long, you know, we got the sun. We need the sun. It's going to go away. So we can't hold this thing up. I mean, you got 300 people here. What are you doing? So we're not moving until he said, look, man, my crew is going to walk. We're not going to stand around here and wait for whatever the hell you're doing. So this is going on and I'm just standing there. He says, wow, this is amazing. This is a major shoot. In Italy, in Cinecittà, Fellini is shooting Satyricon on the next set. And this is what's going on with Jerry Paris. So the cinematographer says, we're going to walk. I'm shutting down. We're losing the light. I'm not going to put up with this bullshit. So Jerry says, okay. So the cinematographer says, all right, we'll do it two ways. March by, Larry smiles. March by, Larry doesn't smile. And he says to me, Larry, we'll leave it in the editing room and they'll decide. But right now we're losing the light. So Jerry says to me, okay, here's what we're going to do, Larry. And he repeats it verbatim, what this guy just told me. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we do it. Now I say to the drumstick guy, the guy behind me, I say, when it gets into the editing room, they're not even going to look at the me not smiling take. I know this, but all right, we're going to do this. All right. So the whole band, 50 people, got to go all the way back to with the horse and Peter Ustinov. We march by, I don't smile. And then everybody runs back and all the way back. And then we march by and Jerry says, no, you're going to smile this time, right? You're going to smile. Yeah, I got it. We're going to smile. So I march by and I smile. And he goes, okay, fine. Well, now I said, I want to see this. When is the cast screening? And they said, well, in 2 weeks. We're in Italy. It's going to be in Cinecittà. So when everybody was invited, I wasn't. I was the only actor not invited to the screening. So I called and I said, production company, I said, wait, when is the screening? They said, it was yesterday. What do you mean it was yesterday? I was supposed to be invited. No, well, you have to call Jerry. So I called Jerry. He said, Jerry, why did you bar me? No, you weren't barred. It was an overflow. we're doing another screening tomorrow. Come tomorrow. I said, okay, I didn't even want to bring up, well, why didn't you invite me though? Why didn't I get an invitation? But I didn't even mention that. So I show up the next day. There's nobody there. I'm the only guy there. One person. And he says, you want to sit with us? He said, we're doing, this is a screening for me and the editor for editing purposes. I said, but I wasn't invited. Look, do you want to see the screening or not? You know, right ways to deflect. Okay, I want to see the screening. Oh, you want to sit with us? No, I'm going to sit down front. I don't want to sit with you guys. So I watched the entire movie. It's not a bad movie. It's not a good movie, but it's not a bad movie.
That's fair.
I'm okay. I'm not smiling through the whole thing. I'm thinking, what a beautiful choice. Going along great. And I come to the end, and of course, we're marching by, and there I am smiling. When I saw it, as we're marching, and I'm seeing the drum is coming, I see it back there. The drum is coming. I look down at my knuckles. I swear to God, this is true. I was holding the armrests, and my knuckles were turning white. That's how tense I was. And then I smiled, and I held it in until I saw the credits, because that's the end of the movie. And then I smile, credits. And I stood up, turned around, and I said, "You fucking butcher." I yelled it as loud as I could. And he was shocked. I mean, literally, I guess he should have been shocked. I mean, it just came out of nowhere. I couldn't even stop it. I just did it. And then I had to march past him out. And that was the story of that. That's
I definitely thought you were gonna say like you like were smiling and flipping off the camera at the same time, so the take was unusable, because it's not like you could CGI back in those days.
Oh, well, you know, had I thought of it, I would have done it. And that's really cool of you, but you've had years to think about that, or at least a couple of minutes. I had I was so tense, but that's a great idea. And the next time Jerry Paris, who's dead now, corrects me, that's what I'm going to do, no matter what part I have or where it is in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like to me, I'm like, that's the easiest fix, because like nowadays you could just like cut your arm out and replace it with a fake arm if you're flipping them off. But back then you couldn't, like
they could just erase it. But back then that would have worked.
Yeah. So now I've picked some of your bigger roles, or something that I think that the three of us would enjoy. So my initials are actually Alf, and I saw that you were on the TV show Alf with the puppet.
Yeah, that was now that was a long time ago. Again, all of these are when I was younger. I mean, but the one thing I remember about that was that was a perk for me. That was an up part, and the reason was I played a thief, and I broke into. I climbed in a window. It was a bedroom window, and I was sneaking around while somebody was sleeping. And the end of the movie, it was written in the script. It said at the end of my scene, I'm in the bedroom, I'm sneaking around, and then I hear somebody, or I hear a noise, somebody's coming, and this direction says he dives out the window. And I thought, oh man, this is great. I've always wanted to do that thing where you just, just flat, right? I go, wow, man, it's like a death scene. Oh man, I got a death scene. Yeah. It's like a jump through the window scene. For a comic, that's like a death scene. That's like a great laugh. Anyway, so I had to rehearse it. They had a mattress outside the window. And I'm kind of a physical comedian, so I was looking forward to it. And on camera, and then they go, "Okay, you ready, Larry?" And I go, "Yeah." And I go, "Okay, blah blah blah." Oh, here's a noise. Pew. Perfect. I nailed it. And that was the end of that story. That's it.
I was really expecting you to say you like overshot the mattress. Or something.
Yeah. No, that was that was one of the wins.
Yeah, they put in the wrong glass.
But I had a thing to do that I loved the expectation of doing it.
Yeah.
And I did it on camera, and it made air. It
Yeah.
aired. Yeah, you can't get any better than that.
Yeah.
That's
Actually.
awesome.
So the next one I have here on my list to talk about is you played Doobie in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, well, that's now a memorable role. Not for me, but for
Yeah.
everybody else. Everybody else. Oh, you're Doobie. Doobie's Taxiola. I think the word Taxiola is really what they remember, not me at all. But it was, oh, the Doobie Taxiola. They don't say Doobie. They say, oh, Doobie's Taxiola. Yeah, you're the guy. From that, I mean, it was great working with Steve Martin and John Candy. I mean, you can't get any better, funnier guys, man.
I love John Candy.
Whoa. Well, John Candy is just fun, and he's a great guy. No matter how good you think he is, he's better than that. He's just a great guy. You can't say anything bad about John Candy, or we're going to step outside. You understand? Okay. But Steve Martin is one of the few geniuses I've ever met. I mean, he's amazing. And I'll tell you why. Because we improv that scene in the Taxiola. That is written. It's 3 pages. It's 3 minutes long. It's as written, John Hughes. We covered that in an hour. We did that whole scene in an hour. It was not on the road. It wasn't in a taxi. It was a shell of a taxi on a sound stage. And anything that was going by were crew members with lights and shrubbery running past. and they would run past, around, back, behind the camera, around, and then run past again. While we were doing our words. It's very disconcerting.
Did you see that guy with a bush?
So we did that for an hour. Now, the rest of the day, we were on, I guess, Warner Brothers lot. John Hughes, who was directing, outside the shell of the taxi cab, he was sitting on a box, little outside the front seat, and he was saying. So what we did for the rest of the day, we took a break for lunch, and then for the rest of the day we improvised that scene. You know, no word, no written things. Just every once in a while, I'll say, "Oh, Larry, you changed things. Steve, you changed," and Steve was just amazing. Now, John Candy and I had been in Second City. We took the classes. We learned how to improvise, blah, blah, blah. Steve Martin is just a funny guy. Man, and he was funnier than both of us put together. I mean, he was just improvised shit that was just amazing, man. We were falling over. And John Hughes has a photographic memory. We improvised the entire day, and he sort of memorized all the improvisation, because he would say, near the end, we would say, "Oh, well, Larry, when John said that, you said this, so say that, but you keep that. But John, you don't have to say that, And then Steve, you said this, so well, let's just do it again, and okay." And then he'd keep on doing that. In other words, he would remember our lines. We didn't. And you say that when he said this, and you say that when he said, for the rest of the day. So when I saw the movie, none of that was in the movie. What you see was the written script that we did the first hour. And I was wondering what the hell happened to all that improvisation. He had a film crew, Warner Brothers. About a year later, I'm in some delicatessen, and Christopher Columbus, who directed, I think, Home Alone.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was in that too. So Christopher Columbus, I was in the delicatessen, and I hear my name, and it's Christopher Columbus, and he's sitting in the delicatessen with his family. And he said, "Hi, Larry." And I go, "Oh, hey, Christopher Columbus." Well, I was with a friend, so I said, "Hey, I'll introduce you to Chris Columbus. Come on." So we walked over to his table, and, "Hi, Chris." He says, "Oh, Larry." And he said, "This is my son, this is my wife." And then he goes, "Hey, I saw that movie, and it was so funny." And I go, "Oh, I don't know, what was the name of the movie I was in?"
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Planes, it's just so many. I talk about them all the time. Trains, Planes. He says, yeah. I said, "Oh, you saw Trains, Planes, and Automobiles?" "Yeah, it is a funny movie." He said, No, the film short." "What film short?" The film short, the taxi. We're in a taxi with Steve and John. Well, it was out of the movie, but it was a film shoot. We didn't do a film shoot. Yeah. You were the driver and they were in the back. It was just hysterical. Oh my God. That was the improv that he was doing. He was making his own film short and he knew it. John Hughes knew it. In other words, I got it in the can. And he had booked to shoot that scene for the entire day. He had booked the soundstage. Mm-hmm. So he shot the scene in an hour, which he's such a good director that he must have known it would only take an hour. Yeah. He wanted to make a film short with John Candy, Steve Martin, and Larry Hankin, all improvisers. Mm-hmm. So that's what he did and didn't tell anybody, and just blah, blah, blah. So that was kind of cool. But that film short, which I have never seen and nobody has seen except I asked Christopher Columbus, I said, where did you see this movie? He said, well, John, it was the year before he died. John Hughes passed away. Had a birthday party and he invited a lot of his, movie friends, John Hughes movie friends, to his house for a birthday party. And the entertainment was the film short. So everybody at that birthday party, at John Hughes' birthday party, including Chris Columbus, saw it. But nobody else has ever seen it. And I would love to see that movie. It must be hysterical. But I don't know. But that's kind of the story of Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. I just loved working with John Hughes because he's such an instinctive director. I mean, and he knows in his head what's funny and what's not, even if it doesn't look funny when you're doing it.
Yeah.
When you see it, framed and in a movie in a proper place, it's funny as hell. I mean, the whole driving scene on the highway with John Candy in the car, that rented car, and Steve Martin is just, that's one of the funniest sequences I've ever seen of a car.
Yeah.
And when the car blows up behind them, but you don't see it, just as when they're sitting on the trunk, mm-hmm. The car's parked, and all of a sudden you see. I mean, that's great, man. Anyway, that's the story of that.
And you had mentioned Home Alone. So what was your experience with Macaulay Culkin and those guys?
Poor Macaulay Culkin. He has never lived down that movie to this day.
Yeah.
They even asked his brother. His brother was starring on a show on Broadway. Mm-hmm. And I listened to the interview because what has his brother got to say, And all they did in the interview with his brother starring on Broadway is, so what is Macaulay Culkin really like?
Yeah.
And they just asked him questions. Yeah, but in that movie, well, why did he do that? And they didn't ask him one question about starring on Broadway. It was sad.
Yeah.
I mean, and probably Macaulay can't outlive that either. So my part in Home Alone. Okay, the crumb on the phone. Mm-hmm. Everybody asks me. The crumb on the phone, I gotta say, is probably more famous than the Sergeant Balzac.
Yeah.
On the phone. Say, hey, you're that guy in Home Alone. You're Sergeant Balzac. Oh yeah. How did you do that crumb thing? Is that CGI? How did that happen? And I said, well, I can't give away secrets or they'll shoot me. Yeah. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to risk it for you guys. All right. Well, here's the deal. Actually, the story behind it is more interesting than the scene. Mm-hmm. But what happened was I got a call from my agent saying, hey, listen, what are you doing right now? That's not a good thing to hear from your agent. What are you doing right now? To me, and I would get that call a lot in my time in Hollywood. What are you doing right now? To me, that means somebody just got fired on a major movie and they need a replacement now.
Yeah.
That's what that means. What are you doing right now? And I go, oh man, I'm watching TV. I'm watching a football game. You're not gonna. You got to get down to Warner Brothers right now. Why? Because there's it's a 10-pole movie. It's a big thing. It's John Hughes. It's Chris Columbus. You got to get down there. Just get down there. Well, what part is it? It's a cop. Just go. Okay. So, that's way out in the valley. I got the football game. It's the Rams, man. All right. So I lead footed down there, I'm speeding down the 405. And I get there and they go, okay, you here for Sergeant Balzac? Okay, you got the part. I just screwed up. You don't have to audition. Yeah, you got the part. Okay, fine. All right, just show up, blah, blah, blah. All right, so that was easy. I get home about 3 days later. I get a call from my agent. What are you doing right now? Oh, man, what are you talking about now? The Sergeant Balzac thing? Yeah, the movie has started. Daniel Stern is holding out for more money. He's going to quit if they don't give him more money. The producers just called my agent. They want to replace Daniel Stearns with you because they don't want to deal with Daniel Stearns and his money thing. So if he doesn't capitulate and just stop it, we're just going to fire him. We're going to start and we're going to just hire you. So are you okay with that? Yeah, that's great. Okay, I will tell them that. But here's what you have to do, because you have to shoot tomorrow, because they're on the phone with Daniel Stearns right now. And if he doesn't capitulate, they're going to fire him. You have to get on a plane tonight. So here's why I asked if what you're doing. You got to pack your bags, get ready. Within an hour, you're going to get an answer. Okay, bye. So I immediately pack everything, I sit by the phone, and sure enough, in an hour and a half later, I get a call. Okay, Larry, Daniel Stern capitulated. It's all off. There's better jobs coming up. Bye. Whoa, what the just happened? So that was like a big downer for about an hour.
Yeah.
And then, I just went off and you just forget it, man. That's the nature of the game. You just forget it.
Yeah.
I get a call about 2 weeks later from the producers of Home Alone saying, hey, Larry, look, we're very sorry about how we screwed you around with the Daniel Stearns thing. I mean, that was just part of the business. We were trying to do it. We really love your work. It just didn't happen. But the truth be told, we're having problems on the movie. Has nothing to do with Daniel Stearns or you. It's just bad luck. But we think it's because we screwed you around. I said, are you serious? And he goes, no, we're very serious. We think we have to make amends. Whatever movie gods are fucking with us, we have to hire you. Are you serious? I'm very serious, Larry. And they were, I could tell by the timbre in his voice. Said, so now here's the problem. We don't have any parts open. We've started the movie. It's all cast. The unions will not let us fire one actor to hire a different actor. It doesn't work that way. The only part left is Sergeant Balzac. It's 5 lines. I think it's 3 lines. Rose Hyper on 2. You want me to go to your home and look for your kid. So that's the whole part right there.
Yeah.
And I've remembered it all these years. So he goes, so it's a very small part, and we understand you're a major actor, and this is an insult. We understand that, but we've got to get the kibosh off the movie. And he was serious. So it's cursed. So if you do the part, we're willing to offer you something to make it worth your while. Like what? Okay, we'll fly you first class. We'll pick you up in a limousine. We'll pick you up at the other end in a limousine. We will fly you back first class limousine on both ends. We will shoot you first. As soon as you arrive, we will have the set all ready. You will come in. We'll have your costume all ready. You will come in, shoot your movie, and if you want, you can get back in the limo and fly home and eat dinner and sleep in your own bed in the same day. And we will pay you $10,000 to do it. What do you say? You bet. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm already out the door.
Yes. Okay, I'm there.
Yeah.
And then he says, great, thank you very much, Larry. And then, really thankfully, he said, thank you very much. Is there anything you want? Anything at all, you name it, we'll have it. Costume, props, whatever, we need you to do this. I said, anything? Anything you want, you name it, we'll have it for you. I'm playing a cop, right? Yes, Sergeant Balzac. I want to be eating a donut. That's it? Yeah, just a glazed donut. That's it? Yeah, that's it. Okay, you got it. So it's a deal. It's a deal. Great. Thank you, Larry. Boom. My agent calls up. Hey, that's a great deal. Thank you very much, Larry. Boom, boom. Okay, next day, I fly there. Limo, a white limo. I live in an apartment house. This is an apartment house. A white limo. I look downstairs. There's a white limo parked in front of my apartment house. And there's a little crowd of people walking by, 5 people, waiting. Who's going to get in the white limo? This is amazing. In my neighborhood, it's a neighborhood. So they're going to be surprised. So I go downstairs, like this. And I walk in and they were so disappointed. The 5 people were so disappointed. They turned as soon as they saw me open the back door. I mean, the driver didn't even get out. As soon as I opened up the back door, and they walked. So, okay, but I landed the white limo, and there's a guy waiting outside to take me inside, and there, it's all set up, and they got the camera and everything like that. And they go, get in your costume, we're going to shoot this, and you can leave. We'll have the limo waiting for you. You can sleep overnight if you want, and we'll drive you, we'll take you back, or you can just leave in the limo you came with. So I'm going to leave right after this shoot. I don't want to be here. So, okay, fine. I just want my $10,000.
Yeah.
So I go, she says, okay, your costume is in there. I go, where's my donut? He says, oh, your donut. Oh, it's coming. Don't worry about it. It'll be here. Go get in your costume. So I get my costume and I come back. And right next to the camera is, those rolling baker's trays with the baker's trays?
Yeah.
Right next to the camera is a baker's tray filled with, I counted, 450 glazed donuts. So I go, what is this? He says, well, you wanted a glazed donut. And I go, yeah, but I mean, I only need one. He said, Larry, we may have to do a retake. So I said, oh, great, thank you. But, all right, that's their little joke. Okay, terrific. Let's just do this and let me go home. Okay, I get in there, I sit on the thing. Okay, blah, blah, blah. You want me to go to your house and check on your kid? Rose, hyper on 2. Okay, cut. We never got to hyper on 2, and then cut. As I'm saying, hyper, the director, Chris Columbus, yells, cut. Okay, I go, what just happened? Did I fuck up? And he goes, no, the camera jiggled. We have to shoot it again. Okay. So he says, see, we're doing it again. Thank God for the 300 donuts. Okay. Yeah. So I have to eat the donut while I'm eating. Okay. Technically, we shot that scene 10 times. And each time, technically, one time, a light, those huge movie lights up above, because we're on a soundstage, exploded and it rained glass, that bulb glass, down on the set. So we had to break for half an hour while they cleaned up the set of glass shards. But 10 times, the camera went off the dolly, the camera shook, it was out of focus. And so I had to eat 10 donuts. Thank God they had all those donuts, So I'm getting a little pissed. I mean, the glamour of $10,000 is very fading. I'm just like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. I don't like glazed donuts. I want to go home. So, but I'm a trooper. So I go, okay. So the last time I'm eating the donut and it goes blah, 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 roast, hyper on 2, cut. And then all of a sudden, everybody watching, because of the 10 times, everybody thought, this is the curse we're talking about, Larry. You see what I'm saying? And they all, I was starting to think, holy cow, this thing is fuck, it's cursed. Amazing. And then on the 11th time, he says, cut. And everybody started to laugh. And Chris runs over to me, says, come on, we're going over to TV Village. And I go, what? He said, I'm going to show you this. Show me what? I want to go home. And did we get it? He said, we got it. And he go over and he shows me, and I see I'm eating the donut, and the donut falls down and sticks to the phone. And I go, oh, God damn it. All right, let's do it again. God damn it. And he goes, no, this is going in the movie. You're released. I am? That's funny. He says, well, you heard everybody laugh. Yeah, it's going in the movie. I said, okay, can I go home now? He says, you want to go home? I said, yeah. He says, okay, the limo's out there, change your costume. So I got in my costume and I went home. I ate dinner, and I slept in my own bed. But I got the $10,000, and that shot is in the movie. But what I had to go through with Daniel Stern, with you got to leave tonight, with the pack, with the limo, with the, I guess it was worth it. But
Yeah.
it was a funny movie. But everybody talks about the crumb on the phone. That's the story of it. It's just weird. It's in the book.
Yeah. So then I have one tiny role before I get to some more big roles for you that I wanted to ask you about. You played an uncredited wind dancer in Star Trek: The Next Generation, and I want to know about that.
My favorite role of all. Well, there's nothing to tell. I mean, you have to see it. That's all. Just look at it. Just see it. I was a flying face on a soccer ball. I was a soccer ball. Just, and I spent 2 hours in makeup getting the dots, the white and red dots on my, first they put a rubber mask over my eyes and my nose, just this. All the rest was in a rubber mask. And then they painted that white. And plus all around, so all you saw was my eyes, my nostrils, and my teeth, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest, for 2 hours, they painted me as a soccer ball, the red and hexagons. Then, they had to measure them and make them perfect. And it was just me. And then all the rest was in green, the whatever you call it, LGG or G, whatever those letters are. And so, and then when I watched it, so that was it. And then I just had to walk in and say my lines and walk out. And it was all on green screen. And then they put me into a scene. So the actors were talking to air.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to be right around here. And I just float in this ball. I just float in, and it was even, like just gyrating just a little, just moving. And I'm talking, hi, I'm the soccer ball, and I'm here to tell you this important thing. And then all of a sudden I go. It's a great role. I mean, there's nothing to say about it. You see it. It's the most ridiculous thing. If they had television on tombstones, I would want that played on my tombstone.
Yeah.
Here lies Larry Hankin. Hi, I'm a soccer ball. Small parts are the best.
Yeah. So this next role I want to talk to you about, I heard that this was your absolute favorite co-star that you've ever worked with, Billy Madison with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I've heard some great things about this.
I've heard some really positive things.
He's he's not a good guy. He's not
Yeah.
he's not a if you worship him, he's your best friend.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Well,
And I don't
it works out because Nick hates Adam Sandler, and he's not here to talk about his hatred of Adam Sandler with you.
Oh well, me and him could be friends.
Yeah.
I could be friends with Nick. No, he's just I mean, he's very talented.
Mhm.
Adam Sandler is very talented, and he knows his audience. The great thing about Adam Sandler is he had the guts, the tenacity, the fire in his belly to find his audience. He found his audience. There wasn't an audience. That nobody had his audience.
Yeah.
And he broke through. He just insisted on acting. That guy broke through. So I commend him for his tenacity. And have you seen Uncut Gems? I think is the name of the movie.
I haven't
seen it
yet.
but
I've heard of it, but
I've seen it. He does a very good acting job. He
Yeah.
is a good, solid actor. And I've seen his other movies. I go to see his other movies, his serious roles, where other people wrote the script and other people are directing, serious directors. And he's fine. He's a good actor. I give him all his props. But when it comes to comedy and being in a movie with him, forget it, man. He's the worst. Wow. He just puts on everybody. That's all he knows how to do. That's how he relates.
And then the next role I'm going to talk to you about is honestly, it's the role that my fiance was most excited about when I told her I got you on the podcast. Was Mr. Heckles and Friends.
Yes, Friends. It's I tell you who loves Friends, my fans, and they're totally different. They are not fans of any of the other movies that I'm in. They're really on it. Is young girls about 14, 15, and their moms. So your girlfriend will be about 25, in the upper 25s or young 30s, and then older women. I don't, like grandma.
Yeah.
But it's women, no men, none. The only men who like it are my girlfriend likes you a lot. Could you wish her a happy birthday?
Oh, well, so I've watched Friends all the way through. I've really enjoyed the show. I like it, and
cool.
I loved you and I did I mean, this is not even trying to blow smoke up your ass, but I really enjoyed Mr. Heckles in the show. Like the few episodes that you're in, I always had a laugh. I liked and when you were talking about trying to remain serious in Viva Max, I like that's like his Mr. Heckles role too. Like you just stay just serious the whole time, and that's the funny part. Is
there you go
in the world where everyone's laughing and everyone's having a good time, to have one sad person and who's just angry or whatever.
It's not sad. I was trying to think of the word. Actually, a fan gave me the right word, but I can't remember. But he's disgruntled.
Yeah, he's just
he's just
upset by everything.
Going against the grain is what people are into now.
Yeah,
just going against the truckers, whatever you are, I'm against, and that's like the big thing. By the way, just in addition, you can blow smoke up my ass. Jeffrey,
okay.
No.
That's fine.
It's just water vapor. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's too much.
No, it is. I get it.
It smells nice.
Okay, yeah. That's the Friends is like a big. Mr. Heckles is probably what I'm most known for.
Yeah.
I don't follow that, but okay, it's
when
cool.
When I was telling people I had you on there, like, who? And I was like, Mr. Heckles from Friends, and they were still like, now which one's that? And I was like, the neighbor, the neighbor who's always in like a dirty robe, like that's it, that's all. And they're like, oh yeah, I love the guy. And I was like, great.
Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, I love the guy. Yeah, that's so the name of the book that I'm writing is called That Guy. That's what they say. Oh, you're that guy.
Yeah,
right. Doobie and Taxiola, right?
Yeah. And then I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Old Joe in Breaking
Old Joe,
Bad and
that's
El
yeah,
Camino.
he's my favorite.
Yeah.
He's the most endearing. Old Joe, well, it's I got to work with Vince Gilligan, and he liked my acting. Unfortunately, I have dyslexia. I'm a dyslexic. So I have a hard time as I've grown old. I've had it all my life. But I don't know if you don't notice it, but I do. My roles as I go, they go like this. They get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they level off, and then they start to go down because this dyslexia, I can't memorize large roles. So it came to a head at Breaking Bad in El Camino. I did two Breaking Bad. Let me see. Yeah, I did two Breaking Bads. One was the Magnet, and the other one was the I destroyed the Winnebago. I was the junkyard out in the desert. So I was Old Joe. So that was really cool. But the first time I just had 5 lines when I auditioned for Old Joe. I only had 5 lines, and I loved it because my dyslexia was starting to interfere with my memorization of large roles. So I knew it would be a problem. And then I only auditioned with 5 lines, and that was cool. I mean, 5 lines is easy. I'm talking about a page,
Yeah.
a monologue. So I went and I did in the morning, I did my 5 lines, and it was really good. And not only was it really good, I aced it. I mean, Bryan Cranston liked what I did, and I did too. So I was a solid actor, and I wanted to be for Bryan. I mean, he's a good actor. I look up to him. So I wanted to do a good job. So I did. And in the afternoon, they came to me and they said, oh, we got another one. Vince Gilligan likes your acting so much in the audition that he gave you another scene. I go, oh, cool. What is it? He said, it's you got to keep the cop out of the Winnebago. And I go, okay. Where's the part? And then they give me a part. It was a monologue, a full page. And I just looked at it and I knew my dyslexia wouldn't, I need a long time. No, I can memorize it. I just need the time.
Yeah.
So a page would take me a week. So if I was going to shoot in 2 weeks, no sweat. So I always would ask how long, what's the lag time between the time that I get the part and I do it? And I would just say, oh, that's enough time. Fine. But this was, I got to do it in 2 hours. And I knew that's not enough time. So I just knew it was a no-brainer. I just couldn't do it, period. But I wouldn't cop to it. So I said, okay, I got 2 hours. So I tried to memorize it and it just wasn't going in. I couldn't, dyslexia just, it'll go in. I have all the words. I just can't get them out in the right order.
Yeah.
There's just too many. I'll lose focus along the way and it just dissipates. So I didn't cop to it. And then they go, they knocks. I said, well, I was an improviser, and I recall, well, I was improvising with John and Steve, and I'm from Second City and the committee. I can improvise. I'll improvise it. Hey, no sweat. So I get out there and he says, oh, well, Larry, now this is the director who had directed me in the morning, where I aced it with Bryan. So he goes, oh, well, okay, Larry, we're going to do another one. You ready? Yeah, but I'm kind of dour, I'm kind of, yeah, I'm ready. Can I do this? And he says, okay, so now I figured out how to cover myself, see, because I'm an actor now. I've been around. I know how to make movies. So I said to him, listen, I know how to shoot this. And he goes, you know how to shoot this? I go, yeah. I'm totally naive, not knowing I just taking his job from him. I'm going to direct myself in this scene. Would you step aside? He goes, and exactly how would you direct this, Larry? And I'm getting this weirdness from him, but I'm still not hip to what I just told you, that I'm taking his job. How would you direct this, Larry? I go, well, we'll break it up, like you shoot inside, you'll shoot him, you'll shoot me, you shoot inside him, me, back and forth, just like cutting. So, and I figured I could memorize each section while they get back to me. He says, no, Larry, I tell you what, he's being kind to me. No, Larry, I tell you what, you're going to get down there and it's going to be a walk and talk. You're just going to walk to the camera and we're going to do it all in one take. And there's a car parked, a limo, actually, parked right near the camera because we're in a road in the junkyard, dirt road in the junkyard. So there's a car parked right over there. And he says, so we're going to do a walk and talk. You'll just get way down there about 100 feet, walk to the camera, do the whole speech, cut, you'll get in the limo, you're released, you go home. So it'll take one take, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, let's do that. All right, get down there. You okay with that? Yeah, I'm okay with that. Okay, get down there. And he's not asking me why I'm all of a sudden, I was so friendly and open, this morning, but now, so I get down there and I go, man, okay, here we go. So he says, all right, you ready, Larry? Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, and action. So I'm starting to talk legalese talk. Now, a lot of it I got from the script, throwing it in there. And a lot of it's just legalese. And all I'm trying to remember is don't stutter, don't stumble, don't go, just keep talking until you get to the camera. I know what the last line is, and I know what the first line is. Okay, action, Larry, and I'm going. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. And I'm just, and the weird thing is, I am keeping talking. I'm not stopping. I'm not studying or anything. That's amazing. The adrenaline must have been pumping.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just saying legalese. Any kind of legal term that comes to mind, I'm just throwing out. Blah, blah, blah. And I get to the end. And I think, yeah, but I'm going to be fired. I mean, that's goes without saying.
Mm-hmm.
I get to the end and I go, blah, 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 and last line. And he goes, okay, Larry, let's do it one more time, okay? Just for insurance. Did I just memorize it? He didn't blink. He just, let's just do it one more time. For insurance, okay. So I get back there and I go, holy cow, well, now I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry at all. He's got it. He said it's in the can. This is insurance. I'm cool. How great can I be? And the script lady starts walking towards me. Now I know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
I screwed up a line or a word, or maybe two words. So I'm, Mr. Wise Guy, Mr. Been Around. I go, hey, what did I remember? What did I forget? Like she's going to tell me a line. And she shows me the page. Every fucking word is circled. I've never seen a page like that. Mm-hmm. And I've been in movies 20 years minimum. I've never seen a page like that. And she says, I said, well, I got the gist of it, right? And she says, the director wants you to say it verbatim. And she's very stern about it, verbatim. And I say, okay. And he yells, anything wrong, Larry? No, everything's fine. Okay, let's go. And then he starts walking towards me. And he says, are you sure there's nothing wrong? I go, no, man, it's fine. He says, okay. And then he just stands over here. And the cinematographer says, don't you want to stand by the camera, Sid? And Sid yells, no, I'm going to walk with my actor. And now I'm thinking, okay, it's kindergarten time. Now he's going to hold my hand. I don't want to be here. Again, every once in a while, I have that.
Yeah.
Here, I want to be quiet. He says, you ready, Larry? And he opens his book, the director, standing next to me. He says, where am I out of frame? And it's cut off right here. So he's standing right here. I can see him. He's got the book open and he says, okay, you ready, Larry? Yeah, and action. So I start walking and I just do the same thing. I just improvise, new stuff, blah, 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 blah. I get to the, and he's got his head buried in the book and and I'm walking and I see him and I'm just walking and talking. And I get to the end and he goes and he closes the book and he says, okay, Larry, dismissed. Thank you very much. Larry's dismissed, everybody. Let's give a big hand. They open the door. I get in and the car drives away. And I thought, did I just remember what the hell? So I had to wait 2 weeks to watch.
Mhm.
what I did. And here's what happened. I asked somebody back at the production office because I didn't know what happened. I said, who wrote that? They said, did Vince Gilligan write that? Because I thought, I don't know. They said, no, the director wrote it. The director wrote that scene?
Mhm.
Yeah. So he knew every word that I was making it up both times. He wrote it. So I guess he also knew how to make films, because when I watched it, what he did was, and he knew from the second line I said the first time that this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
Mhm.
What he did was he took both takes, my voiceover, and he just picked out, since he wrote the script, that scene, all he needed was for me, old Joe, to keep the cop out of the Winnebago. And he picked out all the lines that I was saying, legalese, which would compute with keeping him out of the Winnebago.
Mhm.
It didn't matter if I said his line or my line, just keep the cop out of the Winnebago, which seems to be what I did among all the legalese I was spouting out. And he just put them all together. And if you watch the scene, I start with a close up on me or a long shot on me, and then he goes to close up. And then the rest of the scene is the other two guys with my voiceover. And
Mhm.
every once in a while, he'll shoot to me. I think I'm in the scene 9 seconds. I clocked it. I watched it the second time. I clocked it. There was a repeat of the show.
Mhm.
9 seconds. Yeah, he cut to me at the beginning, at the end, and once in the middle, or maybe twice in the middle, but 2 seconds each, a line each that I had said right.
Yeah.
So, nobody, and so everybody just likes old Joe. But in other words, the book I'm writing is about what happens right before or after the magic happens.
Yeah.
It's not interesting what I did on screen. It's
Mhm.
more interesting what happened before I got there.
Yeah.
Or, that's what the book is about, really.
Yeah. And the very last role I wanted to talk to you about is you worked as Pastor Randy with The Rock and Mark Wahlberg in Pain and Gain.
Oh, yeah.
And so
That
what
was
was it
great.
like working with those guys?
I was gonna say those
In a
two
big
monstrous
action
human
movie.
beings.
The
Yeah.
two people, The Rock, working with The Rock, just hanging around with him. That's what I did. I just hang
Yeah.
around. I just sat and ate with him.
Yeah.
He eats all day long. I mean, not much, but he always got something in his hand and
Mhm.
like he snacks all day long. There's very few times where you see him without something in an energy bar,
Mhm.
something. So that was the interesting part of Hanger. And he's the nicest guy. You wouldn't think he was an actor or a wrestler at all. He's just this hulking John Candy is what he is.
Yeah.
He's just a muscular John Candy. Can beat the crap out of you. And I didn't know it, but I rehearsed that scene. That there's 2 scenes in it. As just a regular guy who was running a church, and he comes there to. He's a convict, and he comes there to work because nobody will hire him.
Mhm.
But the director, who's the director who did all the machine things, the transform?
Oh,
Michael Bay.
Yeah, Michael Bay.
Who? Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
Yeah.
He's the interesting guy. I would hang around with both those guys, with one or the other. But Michael Bay was silent. But he is kind of like a pocket genius or something. I don't know if he's a genius or not, but man, does he have a lot of shit in his head about the movie. So I could see how he could direct the Transformers. What he had, this is a low budget, this was his baby. In other words, he wanted to make this movie. It was a low budget movie, $20 million. But for $20 million, what he had was, and this is what impressed me, which has nothing to do with the movie. What he would do is he would sit in his chair and he would think, he would think, he would look at the set, like the outside, the exterior of the church that I worked inside of. I was the caretaker of the church. I wasn't like a pastor, I was a cleaner upper.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the church, and there was a door, blue door. Okay. So the scene that I was watching was The Rock walks in, and the camera pans as he walks in, as he's walking by the church, and then he walks by again. Like basically the narrative is he's trying to decide whether he should go in the church to ask for a job, being he's a convict. Will they take me?
Mm-hmm.
So he's making it walk. And then he finally decides and he walks in. So I'm sitting next to Michael Bay, and he goes through, he has him walk through it about 4 or 5 times, and it looks like it's the same. And I'm just sitting there, and then finally I have a question in my mind. What the fuck is this? It looks like exactly the same. I don't see any change. I don't see why does he keep doing this? But I don't say anything, but Michael Bay finally turns to me and he says, it's beautiful. He says, Larry, it's music. And he just turns back. And then he turns back to me again. He says, no, see, this, and how he's walking. And finally, it's music. And I go, oh, I see. He's got a soundtrack. The camera movement and his walking, they all got to be in rhythm, according to him. Fine, that's great. But he's silent. And then once he gets that down, then he turns this way and he says, get me crane number 5. And I look down and we're on this block. This church is on this block. It's blocked off, this block, because it's a movie set. Okay, the next block is blocked off also. But on the next block, all he has lined up on the curb are movie trucks, cameras, and equipment and cranes. 3 different cranes, 3 different this, 3 different cameras, 3 different just lined up. I mean, it's like the transformer broken down and laid out on a road as camera equipment. The most camera equipment I've ever seen on any movie I've ever done. And he's got them all in his head. So in other words, the way he runs a set is like an army. One time I took off my glasses because I was in a scene where I have the fight with him in the graveyard where the tombstones. And so I had my sunglasses on. So I said, somebody hold my sunglasses. So a crew member came up and says, I'll take them. And I said, okay. And I didn't know where he was going to take them to, and they were expensive. For me, they were expensive. Here. And he just disappears. I do the scene, and now I have to find my sunglasses. Mm-hmm. So I say to any crew member, I say, hey, do you know what happened to my sunglasses? I gave it to a crew member. And he goes, just a second. Larry Hankin's sunglasses. Where are Larry Hankin's sunglasses? And you hear, they're coming up. And then somebody comes running, from far away. Here's your sunglasses. Thank you. And the whole movie was run like that. I mean, the sunglasses are lost easily, but everything was kept track of. The equipment, the number 5, my sunglasses. The place was rampant with crew members. I've never seen so many crew members in my life. That's the only story I have about that thing. Yeah. But so that's the only thing. Oh, and the other thing was I told you that I was just being the cleaner upper guy. So I was just playing an ordinary person. Mm-hmm. Michael Day, the reason that I asked about Michael Day is Michael Day came up to me and he said, he's homosexual. I go, it doesn't say that in the script. Well, it's in the script now. It says you're a homosexual. Guess you have to make that adjustment. So that was right before I went on camera. So it kind of changed. Maybe it changed the way rock fought me, and maybe that's why they cut it out. I mean, it was a little too hard ass for rock. It could have been that rock didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Because it was, it's too one-sided. But that's the only stories I have about that. I just like what Michael Day, he clued me in. He said, it's music, man. He didn't say man. He said, it's music, Larry. But it defined how one should direct the scene if it's important and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I never knew that. And so, and I never said anything, and he sussed it out.
Yeah. A couple more things to do before I let you go. My one is, so you got a degree in industrial design from Syracuse University. How has that helped you in your career?
Well, that's a very interesting question. It's not as funny as you think.
Yeah.
It did help me.
Yeah.
A lot, and in ways that I only thought of in other ways. When I was doing industrial design, the reason that I was taking it was because I was pleasing my parents, and once I finished college, I'm out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my obligations to my parents are over. And that's what happened when I graduated. But they wanted me to have a career, and I wanted to be an artist. So I saw in industrial design.
Mm-hmm.
I focused on design. I thought, oh, Syracuse design. And they said, yeah, that's fine. And I go, okay, great. But what they focused on was industrial design.
Yeah.
And what they taught at Syracuse was industrial design.
Mm-hmm.
No, nothing else.
Yeah.
But I did minor in art, so I could make it through. But then so how did it influence my acting and other things?
Mm-hmm.
Industrial design, I was going to design cars. That was when I got to my senior year, they had me penciled in for car designer, Detroit. But they give you an overview of just machine design. So I thought, I'm not going to do this when I get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's giving me an overview of a huge amount of topics and things, of places I could go with whatever training they're giving me. I don't want to be a designer. I want to be an actor or a painter.
Yeah.
No, I wanted to be a comedian or a painter. So, but somehow I think this will help me. And they said, oh, I want to be in movies. And that was the hookup. I thought, I started to write in college, and I started to see, wow, if in writing, you can write about anything, and I'm learning about a lot of things. So that was the connection. It was going to help me in writing. It was giving me an overview of a lot of different places where design worked, or where you could work as a designer. And I wasn't looking at where I could work. I was looking at the subjects and topics and things you had to explore to be a designer of a chair. You had to talk about ergonomics of your body. So you had to get into ergonomics, and you had to get into skeletal structures. And I said, wow, man, this is great for writing. Just the intro. That's how my mind works. I got ADHD. It's just all the time. And I was just absorbed, interested in all the topics. So when I graduated, I thought, well, that's a good background. But now I'm going to go into painting and being a funny guy, and let's see. And it did, because I started to write. And I thought, yeah, industrial design just kept my mind looking at other things all the time.
Yeah. And then my last question for you is, so we all live in the Chicagoland area, and you did stand-up for Second City in Chicago. So I just wanted to know what kind of, what your thoughts were about, being in Chicago for Second City, and how that helped your career and influence, and, just.
Well, I love Chicago. Chicago's a great city. Are you guys from Chicago or something?
Yeah, the suburbs. Yeah.
Chicago is really great. I like the city, and I loved Second City, because that's where I met a lot of good improvisers: Severin Darden, Barbara Harris, Mina Kolb, Dick Shaw, Valerie Harper. Who was the other one? Those people, Severin Darden was an amazing guy. They taught me how to improvise. I went to school there. I studied with Viola Spolin and Paul Sills. So that was my foundation for acting and improvising, was Second City. And I loved it. I wanted, that's all I wanted to do. When several of us broke away to do the committee in San Francisco, it was the foundation of the Second City that I took with me.
Yeah.
And when I was there in Chicago for a couple of months, there was just too many people in the company. It was the last hired, first fired. There was 9 people improvising with those people that I just said, but there's just too many. So they whittled it down to 6. So they let 3 people go, and I was one of them. And I wasn't fired, I was just let go. So I stayed around for a week, and that's when the other 6 people from the New York Second City and from Chicago Second City decided, let's just go and start another company in San Francisco. And we all went there. And I was there for 10 years in San Francisco. And that's all I wanted to do. To this day, I would still be there if Hollywood didn't offer me all the money that they did. Yeah, the one reason that I wrote the book was I've had a pretty interesting life. I mean, all the crap that I've gone through, the highs and the lows, Right.
All right. Well, I mean, thanks so much, Larry, for
this was
coming
awesome.
on and giving us all these cool stories.
They're reality to me. It was just that it happened later. They became stories where when I look back to the hubris that I had to say, I'm going to improvise keeping the cop out of the Winnebago.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's just so foreign to me. I would never do that.
Yeah.
What? You're going to improvise a speech and think that they're not going to know? Where do you get off doing that, Larry? So that's why I wrote the book. Just reading the book after I wrote it, going, what the fuck? Where was I? What was I thinking? God knows. But down on paper now.
Yeah. So would you this is the floor for you to promote anything, imparts any wisdom. When's your book coming out, if you know yet?
Oh, okay. Here's the ad. Okay, see, those are my paintings. I paint now, and I write comedy stuff, and I make little films. So all that is on thereallarryhankin.com. That's my website, thereallarryhankin.com. Not larryhankin.com. That's being held for ransom. It was stolen. I refused to pay, so I went thereallarryhankin.com. So that's all. And then there's T-shirts. Oh, where are the T-shirts? I put them away. Well, all my paintings, which are that big, and they're like $300 to $500, they're museum prints. These can hang in museums. They're that worthy. But the T-shirts are on my website, but they're only like $18 or less. But they're the paintings. So that's the commercial, the book. There's one other book called The Loopholes Dossier, which is on Amazon. I don't like the cover, so I never advertise it. But I wrote the book, and the book is really funny. It's 7 fable satire, 7 fables for adults. I mean, they're just satires. And then 2 biography satires. It's a biography of a politician and the biography of a homeless guy. If you want to know how to be homeless, biography. So that's the commercial. But thank you, guys. I'll tell you what, here's the thing. When the book comes out, it probably won't come out for another year. I'll probably have to publish it myself, but probably for 6 months to a year. We can talk about it. I can come back on the show and talk about the book.
Absolutely.
I'm down. Yeah.
Yeah, because I want a signed copy too. That's what I.
Oh, all right, fine.
Yeah.
No sweat. Easy.
All right.
Okay.
You guys can follow us wherever you find podcasts. Go down our link in our description to get access to our link tree there, all of our social media links, and the top button is become a patron, and you can get the unedited video version of this podcast with Larry. If you donate $3 per month at that tier, at $1 you get a bunch of other content as well. Thanks so much, Larry, for coming on the podcast.
Okay, thank you, Adam.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank Nick. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're Adam?
I'm Adam, and
Jeff.
then there's Jeff, and then Nick.
Okay. Then I must be Larry. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Oh, you can make fun of Nick as much as you possibly want. That's one of the things that we do on the podcast is make fun of Nick.
Oh, cool. Great.
Yeah, it's one of our gags.
An easy target. Fuck Nick.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love it.
That's staying in though.
Yeah.
What freedom? What freedom?
Oh,
Oh,
Nick
we
lost
lost it.
internet.
It's
That's
fine.
fine. We'll
We
come
don't need him.
back.
No, fuck. He's
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
here.
fuck Nick.
No, no. For the big run, smile, Nick, smile. It's the ending. You
Yeah.
got all- and Nick is not smiling. So I give you props for that, Nick.
Yeah.
You're not here and you're not smiling. Cool.